So, Ultimate Callout Challenge 2025. Let's talk about it. We are home safely. We did 88 hours in the truck. We did a combined 40, I think it was like 4,200 miles round trip. And we are home, and we came home with some hardware. So we ended up first place overall UCC 2025. And we also got the elusive 3,000 horsepower all in one weekend. And when I say this weekend was a roller coaster, it was a roller coaster. And before I forget, all of you guys that came up, hung out, bought merch, stuff like that, I truly appreciate it. We ended up selling out of extra large and large very, very quickly. Usually I have more people buy 2X and 3X than normal, so we'll go back, and I think we'll do a UCC t-shirt, probably get the truck with the messed up bedside on it, and I'll post those up for sale on the website. I'm gonna put the order in today, so it'll be about a month from now. And yeah, if you want one, cool. If you don't, that's fine too. Just to put it in perspective, I didn't even get an extra large of the new shirts, so I'm rocking a 2X. But anyway, we started out UCC. We got to power driven diesel. We picked up trans parts, some spare stuff, some fluid, and then we picked up Meyer and Shad, and we hit the road. We made it all the way to Ultimate Callout Challenge. We got there Wednesday morning. Yeah, Wednesday afternoon. Got in, they let us in, we got our pit set up for the most part, started watching competitors roll in, and basically that first day, you kind of acclimate a little bit to the time change, you BS a little bit. I got the guys a hotel room, so we all had good showers going into the week, and we were ready to test on Thursday. So this year, Ultimate Callout Challenge /ODR, did a test and tune. So for anybody that wanted to, that was a UCC competitor, and then 20 other trucks could buy a slot and test on the track. We did take advantage of that. We were one of the first trucks down the track, and we went a 6:02 on fuel. And we were having some valve body pressure problems, or line pressure problems, excuse me. So we spent the night troubleshooting that. Basically, every time you hit lockup, the line pressure would drop 100 PSI, and the only way the converter would stall the truck is you'd wait about 8 seconds, or you would give it a little throttle and it would kill the truck. So we're like, okay, so no big deal. We threw another converter in it, another valve body in it, and actually we threw the backup trans in it. So we're ready for Ultimate Callout Challenge. I went and drove it. Problem was fixed. So problem was fixed. Cool. We looked at the logs. The logs showed we were losing line pressure, and score one for the Bosch. Also on Thursday, Jeff showed us how to set up the limiter in the MS-25. I might refer to the Bosch as the MS-25. That is actually the ECM in the truck. So we got that figured out as well. Going into Friday, we were comfortable that we were going to be able to turn on some nitrous and go run our 540, 550 passes. So Friday rolls around, and everyone's here now. So Gordon came in with his camper and his family. Gordon cooked for us all weekend. Big thank you to him. David showed up with his wife, his 2 kids, Callie and Carter. Brandon, Keely's brother, showed up to support, and then Doug and his wife Dee Dee, and they brought their kids as well. We're all there. My wife, Tessa, and Jace all flew in Thursday night. So we have the whole family together. Cody Hawk was there. We shared a tent with him. That was awesome all weekend. And we roll into Friday. Hit the drag strip. My first pass, I go to hit second gear, and the truck just, it didn't pull any harder. look down and I confirm I'm in second and I see the RPM doing this. Okay, I pull off to the side. I don't run a catch can on my 48. So what happens is when you kind of get them real hot like that and instantly shut it off, it kind of just pukes a little fluid. So out comes the rollback. All right. At this point, we had Austin Deutsch come over and mess with our 4-link. He's much faster than me. If you don't follow him or know who he is, he drives the 2nd gen truck that's covered in like the Anteater and Firepunk logos. Austin Deutsch is an incredible individual that really does want to just see everyone do their best. He was also another one of the guys that really swayed me towards the Bosch system as well. He's had great luck with it. So we get back to the pit, we realize 2nd gear band's gone. So the guys ripped that transmission out, we put the other one back in, fresh converter, fresh valve body. At this point, Ethan had brought over our spares for the event, and we go up to the line. And I'm like, okay, I just gotta do my thing. This is our 2nd pass, and we clicked off a 580.
Competitor number 57 with his Cummins. 07 rate 1.49 seconds, 60.
Everything went good, but we still didn't have the 60 foot. So we brought it back to the pits. Meyer dropped the pan. Pan looked great. We adjusted the 2nd gear band, all that stuff. Awesome. So we're confident going into our 3rd pass. Ethan Patterson came over, looked at my nitrous tune-up, made some tweaks. Jeff came over, looked at our Bosch, made some tweaks. Awesome. We're ready to go. We had that thing loaded up on kill, raised the limiter. I was ready to go like 560s, right? I could feel it. Well, did the 1-2 shift. Whoa! Again, 2nd gear band's gone. So again, I pull off to the side, and if you guys are new to drag racing, when something doesn't go right like that, and I could hear the tires hazing, all that stuff, I always like to pull off to the side and get out of the truck, look under the truck, and make sure you didn't break something or you got a bunch of fluid leaking out. It's just common courtesy. And my 2 oil downs on the track, they had cleaned up faster than the tow truck could get us off the track. So ideally, you don't want to put any fluid down on the racetrack. Unfortunately, I did, so I do apologize for any racers that I did delay that day. It was not intentional. And then at this point, the tow truck comes back, gets us. Well, UCC 2025 beat my new best friend, the tow truck. We've talked about our 1-year plans, our 2-year plans, and on this trip, we're going to talk about our 3-year life goal plans. What a guy. Tow truck guy used to do that job full time. Now he does it part time for side cash. Really, really nice guy. We got to kind of get to know each other a little bit. I believe his favorite color is red. But we get it back to the pit, and the guys are just thrashing on it, right? Meyer's like, oh, 2nd gear band's gone again. So we cut that 2nd gear band out. We slipped a new one in, and those guys had that truck ready for our 4th pass. So we get up there. Jeff made some more tweaks. We thought maybe we just overshot the aggressiveness, so we tweaked it again. And then we get up to our staging lanes for our 4th pass. As the weather would have it, we didn't get it. Rain is what it is. Can't blame anybody. Just as a FYI, the UCC staff was tracking the weather and this packed event, and they said, we promise you 2 passes. They're like, you'll most definitely get 3, but they're like, that 4th one may or may not happen. And guess what? We got 3 passes. We didn't get the 4th one. They were upfront, honest, and transparent about that, and I appreciate that. The way they did the drag racing portion this year put all the accountability on the driver to be there at a certain time, and as long as you were there, you got to go down the track, and I commend those guys for doing this chaos. I'm sure the ODSS guys were helping. I know Levon was running around. Like, the fact that they were able to control this chaos was just absolutely incredible. So we didn't get our pass. So moving into Dyno Day, we ended with a 580 with a 5, so 5.805, at 127 mile an hour. That put us in 6th place. We were slightly behind Michael Brown, and then there was just a slew of 550s. There was Cole Carter, there was Chris Patterson, and then actually I think Denny went into the 40s, and then your drag racing winner, Poor Boys Diesel. I'm not even gonna lie, the whole time leading up to this event, I judged that truck by the 590 sticker on the side, and I didn't think they had it, but I'll be dipped. Those guys, no 4-link, nothing. Leaf Springs, Caltrax, Mega Cab, they had that thing freaking moving, and that is awesome to see. They went like 540, and I think they could have gone even faster if they also got that 4th pass. I know Denny wanted to go a little faster. Michael Brown beat me at the drag strip. So just a congratulations to everyone that placed better than us in the drag strip. It takes a lot to take a truck that also has to sled pull and make it go down really, really fast. So moving into Friday night, we got the truck somewhat set up to dyno. We run suspension stops, and we put the tractor weights on it, and we put the hitch back on it, and we started going over tune-ups. So Saturday morning happens, we do the chip draw. I am the number 1 slot on the dyno, and I feel my stomach kind of drop, but I was like, you know what? This is just how it's got to be. Like, let's just put a number up and make everyone chase it. So I called Jeff. I said, hey, get over here. We're first. I let the guys know. They started changing over radio, stuff like that. I messaged Levon. I said, hey, like, I know you're busy, but man, I could really use your help. I called Chase Fleece as well. And basically, we were trying to figure out how much fuel we needed to throw at this thing. And we got all the numbers moved around, stuff like that. I ended up using 575 milligrams of fuel, which is a Bosch thing. I think that calculates out to like 750 mm3 is what we ran on the dyno. So we got that done. We got our timing table set up, all that stuff, and we went out to the dyno. We get strapped down. I do my speech. For any of you guys that were curious when I was talking, I was actually trying to talk longer so I didn't have to go in that truck. We get all strapped down, you're in your fire suit, and we're ready to go. Cody gets me calibrated. Cody gets like all the load turned on, and I smack it. And it sounds good, but it lays over. And I'm like, Cody gets out, doesn't turn around all excited. And I was like, well, that wasn't 3,000 horsepower. And I told everyone 3K, rods are hanging out, or timeout. Well, we pulled the data log, and I handed the computer to Jeff and Levon. I said, look at this, tell me what's wrong. We start going over the truck, getting it cooled off. We're swapping bottles around because at this point we had almost killed a full bottle anyway. So Will was doing that. And they're like, hey, you're 10,000 PSI low on rail pressure. And I'm like, okay, so I told the guys, go get the stuff to tighten the connecting tubes. As we're doing that, Levon's like, hey, do you have a rail plug or a relief valve? And I said, oh, I run a relief valve. And he's like, all right, that might have done it. And what happens is that Bosch ramped in the pump so hard, it overshot the rail pressure, and the sensor didn't react fast enough to slow the pumps down. Once you pop a 6.7 relief valve open, they don't necessarily slam back shut like a 5.9. So Levon's like, hey, do you have a plug? I'm like, yep. So I start going back to the trailer, and I asked Cody, I was like, hey, can I leave and go get something, come back? He's like, yep. I get there. Brandon met me at the halfway point. I grabbed David's like 75 mile an hour electric scooter, dual motor. So if you saw me flying through the pits, skidding the tires, just know I had places to be and things to do. I get to the race trailer, find the plug, get back, we get the plug in, and we had about 4 or 5 minutes of just like, I wanted everyone to just kind of take a deep breath. It was probably mostly me. Take a deep breath, and let's make sure we make no mistakes. We get it all loaded up. We made no tune changes, no nitrous changes. All I did was get it spooled up, smack that pedal. And that thing just absolutely ripped to life. And then all of a sudden, boom! I tapped the throttle a couple times. I saw smoke. I looked, saw oil pressure, and I was like, it's not the motor. So then I hear the banging around back there, and I peek my head out, as you can see in these video clips, and I saw the tire blew. Instantly got back in the truck because that was a lot safer, and just tried to get everything under control, right? You don't want to shut down a motor when it's that hot. You'll drag the pistons. So I just let it idle back down, got it under control, and that's when Cody said it made 3,000 horsepower. I was so excited. If I said some profanity, I do apologize. In the heat of the moment, I was just fired up, and it was just like just a tidal wave of emotions that came forward. So we start high-fiving everything, and they were like, "Hey, do you want a tow truck?" And I was like, "I mean, I'll drive it back if you want." So I threw Meyer in the truck, and I made him do it. I went and found my wife and Jace, and grabbed Jace, brought him over the fence line. Huge shout out to Tiny for yelling at the people that were yelling at me about how Jace couldn't be there and that it was my son, and basically at this very moment I could pretty much do what I wanted. And I threw Jace in the passenger seat, and I sent Meyer to drive it back to the pit. I was just so overwhelmed, and I grabbed Kyla and we walked back through Vendor Row, and I tried to stop at every tent of every company that has ever helped me and just give my appreciation back to those people. And it was a damn proud moment. Like, that's a motor I put together, that's a trans that I put together, we put together this truck, and it was just so cool to reach that threshold and just have your hand in all of it. And that's not a knock on anybody that has had other people do certain things for them. Just for me, an achievement that'll never be taken away is like, I built that, and that was really cool. And the people that did help build it are my friends, and all these sponsors that I've had, for the most part, have been with me for a long time. When they could have left and no one would have blamed them, they stuck around. So it was really cool to hit that milestone. I'm not the record holder, but I have made 3,000 horsepower at UCC on the right dyno at the right time, and no one can ever take it away from me, and that's what mattered. The dyno is such a political, drama-filled thing, and honestly, like, to me, making 3,000 horsepower on any dyno on any given day is an incredible feat. And most of the people, I feel like, that go back and forth on it have never even gotten there. And the people that have gotten there, like, you know what, they're welcome to their opinion, they earned it. But at the end of the day, like, I'm never gonna take that away from anybody. But it was so important to me to do it there that day on that stage on that dyno, because now there's no one that can argue that I made 3,000 horsepower. and I just soaked in that moment with everybody. I mean, I was so excited. Like, I finally did it, and we were the first one. So we brought the truck back to the pit. I did not go watch another dyno hit. It was not out of disrespect to anybody. I wanted to get as far away from that dyno as I possibly could. And we kind of soaked in that moment. We opened up the t-shirt booth and people bought it. And I got to talk to a lot of the people that I didn't get to talk to on Friday. And just some of the guys got to go around to different vendors, get their merch and their t-shirts. And we just enjoyed that time. And also, guys, I know everyone's going to ask, here's the Bogart. What I think happened is the radials were a little old. And when we did the math, it was 208 miles per hour is what these tires saw. So I'm going to chalk this up to I just probably need some new tires. I'm not sure moving forward what we're going to do, but it sucks that this Bogart got tore up. I'm hoping that they can fix it and just weld a new barrel onto it, but that remains to be seen. I also thought about when we do the shirts, like maybe giving this away, or let one guy get the wheel, let the other guy get the snake peel. David grabbed that for me. So this is the damage to the Bogart. And I really don't know what necessarily caused it. Like, I know like a radial they can go that fast. I think I'm going to do some more research on that. And I'm not sure as far as the wheel looks fine. Obviously, the barrel's destroyed, but the inner part is okay. And at the end of the day, I'm just glad nobody got hurt. But it did scare me a little bit, as you guys saw in the footage. But yeah, that's what happened. And I think the tire just failed. And I'm not even going to sit here and lie to you and be like, oh, made too much power. I think it might have just been a little too old. The story I got when I bought these wheels and radials was that these were Andrew Torvinick from Midget's Diesel. So if that story is true, these radials are from 2018. So it could just be they were just old. But figured I'd at least give you guys that snippet as well in this video. Moving into the sled pole trim is pretty easy on my truck. If you set your mind to it, it takes about an hour and a half. But we just kind of chipped away at it all day, and we had the truck ready to go. The only thing we checked was valve lash. Just ran the valves real quick. Meyer pulled the trans down. The pan looked great. We didn't change anything in the trans, and we bolted the tires on. I got that messed up. You guys can't see it, but there's the messed up radial and wheels right there. And we got ready for the sled pull. We were in first place, but not by much. Colt Carter put up an insane number 2,700 horsepower. The Poor Boys Diesel guys put up, I believe, 2,400 horsepower. Chris Patterson was 2,300. Like, we were in first, but not by a lot. So I knew sled pulling, it just had to be we had to do it right. Like, we couldn't make any mistakes. So we made some tune changes in the Bosch, made some nitrous changes, and we set out to sled pull. I ended up drawing 10th. I pulled right behind Chris Patterson. Colt Carter was the only competitor that, and this is not to sound arrogant, but mathematically, Colt Carter was the only person that was pulling behind me that could ultimately knock us out of first. So I'm watching, Chris goes 319, Michael Brown went 310, and those were really the guys we were worried about number-wise. And so I was like, all right, I know what I got to do. And this whole weekend, I had been talking to Levon, and he said, make sure you do whatever you need to do, that you don't question it on the drive home. Now, he said it much better than that, but that was basically the gist. Like, don't regret anything. Like, whatever you can live with on the drive home. If that means you don't mind scattering it to make this number, if you don't mind doing this to pull this far, like, do whatever you're comfortable with thinking about the whole way home. And I just kept playing that over my head. So we sled pulled. I did the 1-2 gear shift. Everything felt great. Locked it up. Started getting after it with the nitrous. Grabbed third gear. And I just, every button I could press, the max 5 was going. And we just pulled that sled. I saw 318 feet. And I was like, dang, we did it. But it wasn't over yet. Colt Carter still had to pole. And there was a couple people that were coming over and congratulating me, and I was like, listen, like, I appreciate it, but like, don't count this man out. Like, he only had to go like I think he had to go 3:30 to move up. So I was like, like, let's just be patient. And then Colt Carter pulled, and unfortunately it did not go his way, and that sucks. But so much of UCC is doing everything you're supposed to do and then making sure the cards fall your way. And we ended up in first, and it was overwhelming. I just remember like when it happened, like going over to Kyla and Jace, and we just had a great moment, and I had to do all the award ceremony stuff. So like the Dyno and sled pull, I really tried to dedicate it towards all the companies that have helped me over the years. And then that first place overall, like that was the time to thank all of the people that show up for me every time we do this. It's crazy. I about lost it a couple of times. I choked up hard.
And we are up here, number 1 overall of the Ultimate Callout Challenge, Josh McCormack. Got the nerves, got the feelings going on here, got the smiles. Let's hear about it.
I mean, 4 years, 3 different trucks. This is the first year we actually brought the same truck back, and I mean, you start thinking about everything it takes to get here and all the struggles and sacrifices. And I think my biggest thank you really is to my family, you know, my kids. They see the brunt of it. My wife sees the brunt of it with our bank account, but she pays for it all now, so it's a pretty good deal we got going on. And just giving me the opportunity to do it, you know. It takes a lot of sacrifice, which any competitor here knows exactly what I'm talking about. The late nights, early mornings, stuff like that. But my family's always been there, and it matters. And then all the rest of these guys, they become your family over years, you know. Like some of them earlier than others, some of them later, but the relationship's there. Meyer has always really been my right-hand man, and Chad's really been my left-hand man. Whether it was UCC, a dyno event, King of the Street, drag racing, whatever, like they're always there. And Tessa came into the team too, fit in pretty nicely. She's pretty good social media stuff, and it's awesome to just have like people that have stuck by you for so long, just stick with it, even if it didn't always work out. And that's how I just have always been. Like, you can say whatever you want, but I'm never gonna quit. And you just think about a lot of stuff, you know. I'm wearing Tom's shirt, and just being able to do it at home in the 2-car garage. Like, I'm not saying that you have to do it there, you can do it in the shop, but like anybody can do it if you put your mind to it and you just put one foot in front of the other. And obviously all the companies I listed off, you know, it's hard. You meet people and develop relationships over the years, and everyone just seems to always want to help me, and I appreciate that. From dyno to drag racing to sled pulling to life advice, like some of those people have guided me through good times and bad times, and I appreciate them.
That is so great to hear. Number 1 overall, Amsoil Ultimate Callout Challenge 2025 competitor Josh McCormack is at the top of the mountain here this year. One last word for the whole crew and everybody here.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you for giving up your weekend and all the sleepless nights. And I get a little testy at times when I get stressed, so I appreciate it. If I yelled at you, don't take it too personal, and let's go have a nice dinner tonight.
It's celebration time. Josh McCormack and the crew, put it together.
And it was just overwhelming to finally have that first place finish and to do it. And I made sure I wore Turbo Tom's shirt that day, and like all this stuff just aligns. And you want to take all the credit and just be cocky and be like, yeah, like this is exactly, but like you do need luck to fall your way. And anybody that's won this event knows what I'm talking about. Like, certain things have to go certain ways to be there. And it was overwhelming, and I loved it. And I didn't even look at my phone. So I started responding to people. So if I haven't responded, I had hundreds of messages. I appreciated every single one of them. And I appreciated all the companies sharing it. And it takes a village. And I had no issue making sure that everyone got their recognition for it. I don't want anybody on my team or the sponsors to feel undervalued. we had a great event. And I mean, it starts with Dynamite. They are my oldest sponsor. We run their injectors, their modified rail. And I appreciate the heck out of Lenny and Skylar, and then even some of their previous employees. Chris Krebs now works there again, and some of the employees that worked there and now do something else. I've met a lot of good people through Dynamite, and Lenny has steered me in many ventures, not only just in diesel motorsports. I had power driven there. Will came up, helped us refresh the trans and do all that stuff, and really just gave us humor when we needed. He changed the nitrous bottle on the dyno. He's the one that refreshed the trends, that made all that power. And I think about it, like, they gave me my first, oh my goodness, the sand flies today, guys. My first job in diesel performance, and I learned a lot from them, and they still support it. They sent me with fluid. I took 2 of their employees. Then you have like Air Dog. We did that with a single lift pump, letting them, be able to market that. Fluid dampener, Nick over there, always taking care of us. Wagler, the whole crew over at Wagler, Jeremy, Jay Lee, like, they're great people and they keep us going. We run their rods too, their machine work. They've just been fantastic. Ed and Booms over at Diamond has always taken care of us. Forced inductions. I deal a lot with Jarrett. And Jarrett's been awesome to work with, to take that new GTR 70, put it on the podium, and their S450. We went the whole weekend, never touched it. They're fantastic turbos. We run their wastegates as well. Fire Punk is one of the newer ones to the group, but their contribution cannot be understated. The roll cage, a lot of their employees give up their off time to answer questions. We got all of our race windows from them, our TBM kit from them. Lavon played a huge role in making sure the truck was set up to make the 3000 on the laptop. And that was incredible that he took time to just make sure I was good. David with WOT, a lot of people give David a hard time. He brought his whole blue truck out just so I had spares, and brought weights so I didn't have to tow as much weight going over to Indy. And just having him and his family there, it's one of those relationships, like, although we're not business partners anymore, and a lot of people read into that wrong, like it had nothing to do with David and I clashing. It was just I had to be somewhere different, and to have friends like David that still show up for you years later, businesses later, it's awesome. And I'm so glad to hear that his shop is still rocking, doing great work, and I'm happy. We also on the team have WP Development. Ethan Patterson has been one of those friends that came along and has just done nothing but constantly improve me as a racer, and has always improved me as a person. The way he has handled everything that has been thrown at him over the years is admirable, and I look up to him not only as just a person, but also the way he is as a dad is just fantastic. And I don't want to take anything away from him, but he also builds one hell of a torque converter as well. So we ran his converters all weekend. The one converter and valve body that had the little bit of a lockup, Meyer's going to take apart the valve body, Ethan's going to take apart the converter. After we swapped it, we had no issues the whole weekend. 580 at 5,280 pounds, which again, wish it was 560. Sorry, Ethan, I'm always just going to be slow at the drag strip. We put 3,100 horsepower through one of his torque converters, and that thing sled pulled like a banshee, and it's been fantastic. He gave us another spare as well, so I might pull this converter out that we did the dyno hit on and ask him if he wants to see it. If not, I'll just keep running it, like, I don't care. And he's also been just a great addition to be able to not only build that friendship over time, because that's how it started with Ethan, was being friends, to becoming a dealer for his products, to now putting some serious power through one of his converters was awesome. And I'm grateful for the whole WP Development fam. Papa Jay welded my converter. Brittany delivered them to the racetrack, and we appreciate that. And it was awesome to see him get to sled pull O-line. I'm not a huge football fan, nor would I be a Colts fan, but I just realized that O-line is because the guy that owns it is an offensive lineman for the Indianapolis Colts. So it was cool to meet an NFL football player, and I am 6'2", 200 pounds. I wear a double extra large glove, and that man made me feel like I had little kitten paws when he shook my hand. But congratulations to Ethan on a successful first hook. I know that had to feel good. You battled it, and man, that was a cool looking truck. It sounded great, it pulled well, and I can't wait to see what you do in the future. We had Manton, who's a sponsor. Sometimes I even forget about because I've just never needed anything. Like the first order of parts I got from them, I'm still using. They've never had any issues. Industrial injection with the cylinder head. That was the only real casualty with the engine that we had. It sounded a little weird at the end. A rocker bridge fell off, and we started looking, and the valve locks are actually pulling through the retainers. It is something that they have never seen before, and both Tyler and Brighton were like, hey, like, pull the head off, get it sent to us, we'll get it fixed, and I appreciate them. We do it a little different. I do a 6.4 deck plate. I run a little bit smaller valve, but that industrial head, I'm telling you guys, on a flow bench, that thing's an animal. They do great work, and I appreciate them always standing behind us on the cylinder head department. And then you have Extra G. They've helped us out with 14 mil pumps, and I've talked to Jeff about the Bosch, and I talked to him, and then we finally pulled the trigger, and that is probably the best purchase I've ever made. I don't think a factory 849 would have kept my engine alive on the drag strip, banging the rev limiter like that. It was so smooth I didn't even know what was happening until I looked at the gauges to figure out that we were on a limiter. And the level of support that Jeff provided this weekend was exceptional, and I am in debt to him, and I just appreciate it. He was always there, and there was other guys that needed him as well, but he always checked in every time we made a pass, making sure we were good, and all the setup and all the testing to go from an 849 to a Bosch in less than a month to go to this event just shows you how well prepared he was to help us through it and how much effort he put into that. And we had some of the other Extra G guys come over, Randy and Jordan, and just congratulate us, and I appreciate them for the support with the MS25 and the Extra G 14 mil pumps. And it just, where do you stop? You got New Performance Auto. We run all of Steve's alternator relocation, belt tensioner. We have Steve's dual pump cover, and that thing's been great. It's so nice to have gear-driven pumps. It doesn't leak any oil. Nice O-rings, and Steve and Julie are good people. Just geographically, it's hard to always use their machine shop services just because they are so far, but I do try to refer them work, and the amount of knowledge I gained from talking with Steve throughout the years has definitely put me where I'm at. And even moving on to the next one, Gordon Lindemood, GL Tuning Solutions. I don't have an 849 anymore, but I look at this and I'm like, there is no way I would have gotten to the point I'm at now if it hadn't been for Gordon's tuning back when I had stock stuff, right? And that relationship has turned into a friendship, and I look to Gordon as like an older brother, and I appreciate him. He always shows up, he cooks for us, and when we needed to run some timing split calculators, he had his EFI pulled up, and although he did not tune the truck this weekend, again, there's no way I would be a UCC champion or even a UCC competitor without his help. I also want to let you guys know he is back open for business, so if you need any of your 5.9 tuning, MM3, EFI, reach out to him directly. I'm happy to also set it up too, but if you need some tuning for your 5.9 or a 6.7 swap 849, 848 truck, that is the man right there. We also, I want to thank Dom from Starlight. I called him a couple of times over the weekend. He checked up on me, and again, another great friend and a very good calibrator on the laptop as well. And I don't want to forget about him either. Moving on, trying to think. I don't want to miss anybody. I'm like literally trying to picture the side of my truck. Make sure we get all the thank yous out of the way for all these companies. But I guess at the end of the day, you look at all this and you just want to give thanks, right? And Hot Shots Secret is another company. We ran their oil. We ran their new R100 fuel, which is awesome. I can't wait to dyno some number 2 versus R100. We just kind of dumped it straight in and went. But Kyle made sure we were good. We thought we brought enough trans fluid. We did not bring enough trans fluid. They were nice enough to just give us more. And Kyle is awesome. What Hot Shots does for Diesel Motorsports, and I just want to touch on this, like Hot Shots does give me free engine and fuel for my race truck. But I purchase Hot Shots products for my tow rig and my Duramax. I buy their oil. I buy it through XDP through a dealer account. So it's not just that they give me free stuff and I say how great it is. I've seen how awesome the product is, and I still purchase it myself. The EDT, all of that stuff. And the fact that they sponsor NHRDA and ODSS, they give us a place to race. Free is awesome, but we wouldn't need any of these products if they didn't put their money where their mouth was and sponsor all of these different organizations and make sure we have a place to do this stuff. So again, Kyle has touched on it before. He'd love to give everyone free oil, but then they would have no money to give us a place to use the oil, right? So just something to think about moving forward on it. And yeah, they've always been a great addition to the team, and their fluid is what got us through 100%. And then I have to thank my team, right? Like my wife, my kids, they deal with the late nights. I almost missed Mother's Day. And my wife stood behind me when I've blown up literally everything I've owned in a weekend. KOS 2020, I broke the race truck, blew a rod out of the side of the tow truck, and she's always stood by and supported me. Although sometimes she does give me a hard time about the time, but like this year felt right. She was all on board, never complained, didn't even, like when I bought the box, she was like, oh, just do it. If you need it, do it. And she's been killing it with her business and still watching the kids. And it's just been awesome to have such a great person just to go through life with. She's a great mom, great wife, and I'm very blessed to have her. Then you have Meyer and Shad. Both those guys gave up hours and hours and weeks and days leading up to this event. Not just for this event, but UCC's previous, KOS's previous, and those guys were rock stars. They made sure I never missed an opportunity to drag race, whether that meant a trans swap, a slip-in ban, this, that. They were always there, and I appreciate them. Tessa flew in. She's a great addition to have to the team. Her and Kyla ran the merch tent, and I appreciate her flying out. We had Gordon and his family. They cooked. It was awesome to see Gordon's kids come out. It was nice to meet Dee Dee, which is Doug's wife. I'd never met her before, so it was nice. It was nice to have David there with his family. It's hard. It's like a family reunion anytime we go to these events. And then we had Dirty Hooker Diesel / Hawk Performance. I say that just because there was a lot of Dirty Hooker guys in that pit as well. Those guys were a pleasure to spend the weekend with. Cody did what he wanted to do, other than obviously the sled pull didn't go his way, but it was awesome to see them and all the competitors that were there. For anybody that's curious, UCC gives out 30 invitations. They had 30 people locked in. 13 people showed up. And I feel like the 13 of us that do show up know exactly why the other ones didn't. Sometimes life happens, but a lot of it boils down to there's so much time and sacrifice that you have to put in there to go there, just to make it there. And then to have a good showing, it's incredible. I think about like Patrick Brown. his weekend did not go his way. And I was like, dude, like, if you ever feel bad, go pull up my UCC 2021 score. I said I ran like 7s in the 8th. I made like 250 horsepower, and I think I pulled 178 feet. I said half the battle is just showing up. And if you show up, people notice. I noticed he didn't quit. The dyno thing with his Quadzilla shutting off and all that, like, he could have quit. And I don't think anybody would have blamed him, but he didn't. And he went and sled pulled, and he pulled like 280 or 90 feet. So don't give up. And you keep pushing forward, eventually you will get there. And that's not just a message for him, that's anybody, you know. And it's easy to look at it, criticize, talk smack, all that, but at the end of the day, there were only 13 trucks there, and those guys gave it their all. I saw Michael Brown had his engine, not engine explosion, but like the intercooler pipe and all that, like a engine broke, and they were out there thrashing on that truck till 3 a.m. Colt Carter ejected the back of his block into the cab, put another engine in it. He made it. You know, I watched the Cody Hawk team kind of flip-flop setups and this and that, and there's so much that happens behind the scenes and the sacrifices and everything. Just making it there is a heck of an achievement, and then you want to put on a good show. So that was my UCC recap of 2025. Again, all those companies, you can't do UCC alone. And it's easy for everyone to look at the video and be like, oh, he built that in his 1.5 car, 2 car garage in his driveway. I did, but I have developed the skill set and all this stuff over the years, and I don't let the environment change the outcome. And although it is not easy to do UCC, if you are sitting there watching this and you want to do it, you can. Just make sure you're prepared for all of the things that you have seen on my channel. I try to be as transparent, let you guys see the struggles, the late nights, the 4 steps forward, 75 back. Like, it happens, and you can either keep pushing or you can quit. Those are your 2 options. Both of them are hard, because you got to look at everyone and tell them that you quit, or you keep pushing, and that is also a silent suffering as well. And that's not to put myself on a pedestal. I'm not that. I'm just a guy in my garage doing what I love, and I feel like I represented myself, my family, the companies well. And to the biggest question on UCC next year, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it took a heck of a lot out of me this year. And these are just years I don't know if I always get back with my kids. So I'm gonna get this video up. Like I said, let me know in the comments if you guys want the UCC 2025 shirts. If you do, I think it'll probably be a picture of the truck with like the bedside all mangled and everything. And I'll post them for sale. If I don't get enough comments, then I won't, and it's fine either way. Yeah, I mean, we did it. It was awesome. And still thinking about it, it was awesome. And again, just a big thank you to all of the guys behind the scenes that put the event on. Chris, James, then you had Cody and Elmer running the dyno, and all of the event staff for UCC was awesome. You know, it just shows you the kind of people, like, they call him Tiny. Jace wanted an ice cream after the sled pull. I didn't have my wallet. He offered to get my son ice cream. Like, just like little things like that. Like, everyone becomes a family. This industry is so small, and how you treat people matters. So that would be my words of wisdom, I guess, is don't quit. And remember, this is a very small industry, and a lot of people are willing to help, but you have to put the effort in to do it yourself. And they will recognize that, and they will offer you help or advice. It doesn't just come instantly. You're gonna struggle a little bit, and that's okay. People are gonna laugh at you, and that's okay. People are gonna make fun of you. That is also okay. Eventually your time will come, and you get to be whatever you want it to be. And for me, I wanted to just soak up the moment with the people that mattered the most. And yeah, let's get back to doing something. I'm not sure what's next on the docket? We're probably gonna pull the head off the truck. I think for this year, I'm just gonna band-aid the bedside with some like flat stock and rivets, and we'll just let it ride as ugly as ever. But again, congratulations to everyone that competed. Big thank you to everyone that puts on that event, and a huge thank you to my friends, my family, my sponsors, the team. We came together, we got it done, we brought home the hardware, and give this one a big thumbs up. Drop your comments down below. Subscribe if you're not already. And as always, I'll catch y'all on the next one.